to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
And shit, it was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao.
Yes, Manny, you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old.
Many fighters are seriously worried about Manny Pacquiao's comeback because, even at 46 years old, he's still moving like a fighter in his physical prime. Sean Porter, who observed Pacquiao's training sessions and watched his fight against Mario Barrios closely, was amazed and confidently stated that Pacquiao is still him. Despite his age, Manny's explosiveness, rapid footwork, and high-tempo style remain as sharp as ever. There's a legitimate fear among current fighters that Pacquiao isn't just returning for show, he's still capable of beating elite contenders with the same relentless energy that once made him a global boxing icon.
What do you think about the overall matchup?
Everything, man. I watched him train like last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in, he's still him, Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man, the last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who fought Pacquiao during both of their peak years, offers a unique and well-informed perspective. He says there's something special about Manny that defies age and normal athletic decline. While most fighters fade as they grow older, Pacquiao remains a complex and dangerous opponent, so unpredictable, so fast, so explosive, that even younger, more physically fresh fighters struggle to prepare for him. Algieri emphasizes that age becomes irrelevant when dealing with someone like Manny. His mental edge and physical conditioning are things that can't be mimicked or anticipated in training. In Algieri's view, Manny's return isn't a nostalgic farewell, it's a serious threat to anyone who faces him.
After, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
Pacquiao's performance against Mario Barrios turned a lot of heads because so much of his original style and ferocity was still present. At 46, many expected him to be a shadow of his former self, a legend trying to hold on to the past. Instead, what fans saw was vintage Manny, sharp angles, relentless footwork, and lightning-quick combinations. Even the rounds he didn't officially win were closely contested. His stamina held strong, and his command of the ring never wavered. While Barrios had youth on his side, he found himself reacting to Pacquiao rather than dictating the fight. The performance wasn't about nostalgia, it was proof Manny is still a world-class competitor.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stole them on the judges' cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy, and he put a special performance. I never saw camps on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got to act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches, and they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean, and they definitely weren't landing with real power. They really weren't.
Fighter and social media star southpaw added to the growing buzz by making a bold claim about a potential rematch between Pacquiao and Mayweather. According to him, the version of Manny we're seeing now is far more dangerous than the one Mayweather faced back in 2015. Unlike Floyd, who has been out of serious competition and relying on exhibitions, Manny has stayed in real fighting shape, training hard, staying mentally sharp, and chasing legacy. Salt Papi believes that if they were to meet again, Pacquiao's speed, rhythm, and fighting spirit would overwhelm Mayweather, whose reflexes and conditioning may have aged out of high-level competition. In his eyes, Pacquiao now holds the upper hand.
Spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken to him, no.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
You think he beats Tank, a near prime Tank Davis?
No, we'll see. Like styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Yeah, like Manny is still active. So.
Okay.
Pacquiao's bout with Barrios served as a vivid reminder of his generational greatness. Every time Barrios stepped in to engage, Manny returned fire with 2 or 3 crisp, rapid punches. His activity level, movement, and angles stood in stark contrast to Barrios' more cautious, defensive approach. What truly amazed viewers was how youthful Pacquiao's movements remained. His legs were constantly creating space, cutting sharp angles, and forcing Barrios to chase. Many questioned the fight's result, arguing that Pacquiao's relentless aggression and volume punching should have earned him the win. This wasn't a feel-good return. It was proof that Pacquiao still belongs among the sport's best.
That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye of Mario Barrios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. And when Barrios was throwing 1, Pacquiao was throwing 3. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao, but 2, just how great he was. 8 division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147.
Skeptics have raised doubts about Manny Pacquiao's motivation for stepping back into the ring, suggesting his comeback may be financially driven. With his legacy already secured as an 8-division world champion and one of boxing's most iconic figures, there's seemingly little left for him to prove. Many argue that continuing to fight at 46 is risky and unnecessary, especially given the physical toll of the sport. They question whether legacy, pride, or passion can justify the dangers of stepping into the ring again, unless there's a lucrative payday attached. Critics see this as a gamble, one that may cost more than it offers in return.
Pacquiao crazy for coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what's brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth extension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That's shiny object syndrome. And you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you got to fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptom and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You want to train, you want to run this other business, you want to do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control, laser focus, get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is evil. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute and go to that playlist.
Yet Manny Pacquiao has consistently rejected the idea that money is his motivation. He's long been known not just as a fighter, but as a humanitarian. From building hospitals to funding relief efforts in the Philippines, Pacquiao has generously given back throughout his career. He says he doesn't fight for financial gain, he fights for his people, his pride, and his purpose. His comeback, he insists, is about legacy, passion, and proving that the fire still burns. According to him, greatness doesn't expire with age. And now, with the Barrios fight behind him, conversations have turned toward who Pacquiao might face next, and fans are eager to find out.
World champion, and I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time, my young brother is 5 years old back then, and he was crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We don't eat breakfast. We don't eat lunch. He don't understand what is. When you're telling him no money, we have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying, and I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and the tear flow in his eyes, and then I feel so sad and like. Of course, I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water just to survive. That's our past, so that's why I always told them that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there, we came.
One name quickly gaining traction as a possible opponent is Rolando "Rolly" Romero. With recent training footage surfacing, it appears Romero may already be gearing up for a potential showdown. His team has expressed excitement, and Romero himself has publicly said it would be an honor to fight a legend like Pacquiao. Meanwhile, rumors swirl around a possible clash with Gervonta Davis, though that matchup seems uncertain due to promotional hurdles and timing conflicts. Still, the possibility of Pacquiao facing another big name has fans buzzing, and anybody takes now will carry massive interest.
No. Tira los golpes largos, ¿eh? Porque si da paso ya te pega mucho. Tú quédate atrás, no te tiras ahí, quédate ahí parado, ahí no tu lado.
Boxing Doctor News, Manny Pacquiao's next potential opponent is Rolly Romero, the WBA welterweight champ. Romero is under the same promotion, has the belt, and can sell a fight. He's eager to face Pacquiao, saying, "A Hall of Famer on my resume. Who wouldn't want that?" After Pacquiao's draw with Barrios, his advisor sees Romero as the favorite for Manny's next bout. Romero has knockout power and isn't afraid to bring the heat. Is this the explosive matchup fans have been waiting for?
Some fans continue to push for a long-awaited rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, believing Floyd would win again. But what they fail to acknowledge is that Mayweather is not only older than Manny, but also far less active in recent years. While Pacquiao continues to challenge himself with real opponents, Floyd has remained in the exhibition circuit, low risk, high reward, and no real pressure. Back in 2015, Floyd fought a Pacquiao recovering from a shoulder injury and out of rhythm. If they fought now, he'd be facing a rejuvenated Manny, fast and fearless, with nothing to lose. And many believe that's exactly why Floyd will avoid that rematch.
We will see what transpires, but all these people out here saying that the fight was fixed, a lot of these people were not fans of Manny Pacquiao. When that whole Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao situation was going on with the steroids allegation, the needles, and the back and forth between the Pac-Tars, as they called them back in the day, and the Mayweather fans. A lot of those fans still hold grudges towards Manny Pacquiao. I guarantee if that was Mayweather that was fighting Mario Barrios coming into that fight after a long layoff, all the people would have said Mayweather had a chance, Mayweather going to win, become champion once again. Mayweather levels above Mario Barrios even at that age. And Mayweather's actually older than Pacquiao. But those same people wasn't giving Pacquiao no chance to defeat an average fighter in Mario Barrios. And that's what I base my pick on, that Mario Barrios is average. Some people that's Tank Davis fans, you know, they want to blow up Mario Barrios into something that he really ain't. Because really before the Tank fight, we're talking about Mario Barrios right now. Before the Tank fight, he took on a guy by the name of Ahmad Daliev. He lost that fight. And he took a beating from that fight. And Mario Barrios really ain't never been the same from that fight. Go back and watch that fight. That was the fight before the Tank fight. Now a lot of people say, well, he was looking good in the Tank fight. He was winning early in the Tank fight. That was the fact of Tank going up in weight, fighting a much bigger guy on fight night. Look at the difference in size. Not only just we ain't just looking at the height, but just he was just a much bigger guy.
Respected boxing experts have voiced strong opinions about Pacquiao's performance against Barrios, insisting that Manny did more than enough to deserve the win. He was the aggressor, pushing the pace, initiating exchanges, and keeping the pressure high. Barrios, by comparison, often fought passively, circling, waiting, and landing fewer clean shots. Analysts breaking down the footage frame by frame found multiple rounds that went to Barrios unjustifiably. Manny's control of the ring, activity, and tactical dominance painted a very different story than the official scorecards. His comeback wasn't just impressive, it may have been a quiet robbery that denied him a rightful victory.
With the draw?
No.
Because, like...
Weird rounds, hard to score.
Pacquiao did better than I thought he did. And that's like, we get into that weird territory in boxing where you start grading on a curve. That's not how boxing works. And I was like, oh, Pacquiao's doing better. He's probably winning. Oh, he won. But no, he probably didn't. And a draw is probably, he's probably lucky to get a draw.
Yeah, as I was watching and scoring it, and I was in the live chat with people, and there was just so many rabid Pacquiao fans that were like, every time he did anything, first of all, anytime he did anything in the arena, the place went absolutely bonkers, like it was going to tear down. Honestly, he probably fought 50 to 60 seconds a round. He did not do much. He didn't need to, because Barrios didn't step on the gas pedal at all, at any point. He was so listless and just kind of like ho-humming through it. So Pacquiao was able to steal moments, and he did a really good job of stealing the end of rounds and making an exclamation point. And also, we saw flashes of the Manny of old when he would have that little like the flourishing signature in the end of something. He'd make that little movement, bang, he'd pop that left hand, he'd fly out, boom, 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 boom. He'd make those little moves, he'd do the fancy feet, and you would be like, oh, but really nothing happened. He didn't land a lot of punches. Like, it wasn't like anything really effective. But it got everybody emotional, it got everybody, and whereas Barrios was the exact opposite. Everything he did was so workmanlike. He has zero charisma. He has no sell on anything he does. He just lacked passion. I know he's Aztec warrior, but where was the passion? Where was the exchanging? Where was the biting down on my mouthpiece and going for it? So there was a lot of opportunities based on how both guys fought for Manny to actually steal rounds, because Mario wasn't selling it. Pacquiao was. The crowd was behind him. But yes, when you do it, you're looking at it almost like you're almost comparing Pacquiao to Pacquiao. You're being like, oh, he fought really good for a 46-year-old. He didn't fight really good for a 12-round main event champion. He fought really good for a 46-year-old Pacquiao. So you get that idea in your head, like, oh man, he's doing so good, but is he really? Or are you just voting for the guy that you like better?
Like, nostalgia's a hell of a... And we were all
it is, man.
What impressed most fans and analysts was the sheer conviction with which Pacquiao approached the Barrios fight. There was no hesitation, no signs of a man unsure of himself, just confidence, energy, and sharp technique. He fought with clarity, measuring distance with precision and letting his hands go with the same urgency as in his prime. Manny didn't look like someone trying to relive old glory. He looked like someone rewriting it. Though the judges failed to reflect that performance on their cards, the crowd saw what happened. Pacquiao had earned more than applause, he'd earned their respect and perhaps, a win that was never officially granted.
Surprising result from last night was 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao going 12 rounds and drawing against the WBC champion. And the craziest part of all of it might be that Manny Pacquiao might have been robbed. I generally think that Manny Pacquiao might have won the fight. He looked great, he looked sharp, especially for being a 46-year-old. And this is why I told you guys that Manny Pacquiao's mentality is different. His passion for boxing is unmatched. This is why he's one of the GOATs. From what we saw, we can see that he really put in a lot of work, because in his last fight, I believe it was 5 years ago, he didn't look good. He looked slow. He looked like a 46-year-old or a 40-year-old, because he was 40 years old back then. But he didn't look good, but he looked great. I feel if the rematch happens against Mayweather, which would honestly be an amazing fight because they're both old now, so they don't have any excuse of being like, oh, this guy's past his prime. They're both past their prime. They're both old. But if it happens, I think Manny Pacquiao wins. Floyd Mayweather hasn't fought, and he doesn't have the same amount of passion. He fought Logan Paul and Deji, but this guy fought an actual WBC champion and looked great and could have possibly beat him. He said he's not going to stop boxing, and he honestly has no reason why to stop. Now, obviously, I don't think he's like a top 10 boxer right now, or like currently, whatever, but he can hold his own. If he went against someone like Gervonta Davis, yes, he'd get murdered, but there's a lot of fighters that he can go toe-to-toe with right now. I don't know, Fall for Sport content, we're about it.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned for more. Until next time.